everybody? If you guys are really into hydroponics and gardening and you really want to know more about this, hit that subscribe button because you'll love almost every single moment of my videos, because I'll go in depth of how I'm going to be doing everything, how I carry it out, what works for me, how it works, and everything else about it. So stay tuned. Welcome to Go To Hydroponics. We are here in lovely Wisconsin, more like snowy Wisconsin, now that the weather has kicked in. But like I said last time in my last video, I said I'll be doing a video on cloning. So I'll tell you everything I'm going to do, how I'm going to set it all up, and tell you guys the best method of how to actually do it and do it effectively. So let's jump right to it. So right here, I kind of have like a homemade version of an easy clone, because the guy at the hydroponics store actually gave me a clear demo version. So I got this. I had to buy this, and I attached it to a pump like this. So this is just the easy clone head with misters on it. And I put a big pump in. I put a pump on it, and this goes right in here. Boom. Now you pretty much have a cloner. Now the other thing I did is I bought some more foam inserts. These are nice, pretty orange ones. They're so vibrant. So I bought these. You can buy them online for really quite cheap, to be honest with you. They're foam. They come out of these big circle. There's like a foam sheet that's cut in a circle format. And then when you put them in the cloner, they actually spread apart, so you can put your plants inside of here. So I have the whole thing done here. That's what it looks like. And then you can pop these cells out. There's a little thumb tab right here in most of them, depending on how your cloner is. And then you open this up, and you stick your cutting in the middle of it, and you stick it right in there, push down, and then you're done. So first things first, let's get the water figured out. So what I'm gonna do, or last time I used this, I took gallon jugs, and I laid out how many gallons actually fit in here to a certain level to make it easier for myself. So I dumped 1 gallon, and then I took a Sharpie, marked it. Dumped 2 gallons, took a Sharpie, marked it. 3, 4, so on. So now I think I'm gonna do about 4 gallons worth. Take the water, fill it up to 4 gallons, and then add some of my Clonex clone solution here that I have for clone and seeding nutrients. Now this stuff, you're supposed to add a lot of this stuff actually. It's 5 to 10 milliliters per liter of water. So I'm gonna have to do some calculations. I'll have to bring 4 gallons to liters, and then I'll have to multiply it by about, I don't know, maybe 7 milliliters. I like to go in the middle. I don't want to go on the high side, because that's, you start using a lot of nutrients, and it's like, man. So we'll get the water all figured out, and then I'll come back and tell you guys what's next. So let's fill her up. So we got about 4 gallons in there, and now I'm going to start adding my Clonex solution. Okay, so I did some math here. So I converted 4 gallons into liters, and that comes up to be roughly 15 liters. Now 15 liters times 7 milliliters is how much solution I want to add for every liter. It comes up to 105. So I need to add 105 milliliters of Clonex solution to here. Now Clonex solution, you don't actually have to. I do it for best results, and it seems to work a little bit better it seems to give the cuttings a little more nutrients and things like that. Not necessarily necessary, and you don't have to buy a Clonex solution either. That's one of the top brands, it's a name brand. So do whatever works for you. For those of you guys don't know how much 105 milliliters really is, I have a glass here. This goes up to 120 milliliters, and this is a big measuring shot glass. So 105 is right just a little above that, my finger, which kind of makes you think, oh, that is a lot of solution to add. And yes, you go through it relatively quick, but remember, quality. Okay, there you go. It's 105 milliliters of Clonex cloning solution. So we're going to dump this in the water. Rinse out the little glass a bit. Now the other thing I'm not going to do is stir it up. Why bother stirring it up when I can just turn the pump on and have it flush it for me? So we're over here, back by my plants now. I got myself a little trusty pruning shears. Now, when you do this, you should always sanitize these to make sure there's no bacteria or anything on there. Rub them with alcohol, make sure they're clean, so you don't transfer any diseases or anything like that from plant to plant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a selection of a few different plants here. I'm not really sure how this is going to work out. I know some plants will work great, but some of these other ones, I'm not completely sure. So we'll kind of try a little experiment and see how it goes. So first one, is this vine. Now, this isn't a typical house plant. These are really easy to grow, or really easy to clone and grow. Because one, look at these. These are, you see these little black things? These are practically roots right there already. Stick that in water and you'd be fine. What I'm going to do is cut some of these sections off and make some more plants of these. Let's take a slice. You could actually take a slice. See, there's roots right there. You could take a slice right there. That'd be a section. Well, actually right here, because there's root section right here. So you could do 2 right there. So this would be 1 leaf and 1 leaf here. Okay, so we have 4 of those cuttings right here. This is how I cut them. There's the root section right there. I went down below it. Now, most plants don't actually have these root sections, so you'll have to be careful on what plants do and what plants don't. Now, we're also going to try some plants that don't. We're going to try a Dusty Miller and see what happens. I am going to take, we'll take a nice section off. I would say, I'm thinking we can maybe get 2 clones. Well, I think we'll just do this top section right here. I'm going to cut it right there. Then I think we're going to try some geraniums, because we have geranium plants right here. I'm not sure how well these clone. So I wonder if I can find a good section that'll clone. I don't want to ruin these plants. These are good plants, of course. So here's a nice good section. We're going to cut this off. There's a branch here. Branch here, we're just going to cut that top off. So we have leaves there, and there's leaves below it as well. So really, it looks like this. And we left leaves on the plant below this, so it can still grow yet. Put that in my cloning pile. Now, go into this mess. We'll take this jade tree. These things are really easy to clone. I mean, there's roots. If you look at them already, there's practically roots coming out right here. Right there, there's roots coming out. Pretty much all the joints on here actually have roots coming out of them. But I'll take some out. They're really easy to clone, and we'll do some of these as well. Okay, so now as you can see, I moved to rubber gloves. Now, this is because I'm using Clonex Rooting Gel, the hormone. Now, you do not want to get this hormone on your hands because it is not good for you. It's not good for you to absorb in or anything like that. This is just for the plants alone. So, now I have all my cuttings, my big pile of cuttings right here. I'm going to go through and show you what I'm going to do, how to prepare these. So, we got the, let's say, Dusty Miller here. Dusty Miller is just a regular outside plant. We're going to see if I can clone it. So I'm going to cut these bottom leaves off so I have more of a stem. Cut that off. Cut that off. I think we're going to go up one more. So you have a good chunk to bite on because, remember, it has to go on this orange thing. The orange foam insert is about this thick. So right about there, it still sticks to the bottom but still doesn't clamp up too much on the plant itself. So I'm going to take this and I'm also going to cut this at a 45-degree angle, just so you can get the most surface area for absorption. We're going to set this aside and do it again. Now these are really easy to clone, so I'm just going to snip these at a 45 and call it good. Now, we got a geranium. This is a little different. I'm going to try it out and see what happens. Again, we're going to want some stem to bite on, so we'll cut that off. So we'll have enough for that foam insert to go on. Then we'll cut this one off too. So now it still leaves, but enough for the foam to grab on. We'll cut it 45. There you go. Okay, we're going to open this bottle up of rooting hormone here. It's purple stuff. You never actually want to you never want to dip you never want to take your leaf and dip it in here because it's called, you'll get contamination. So you always want to dump this out on a paper towel or something that you can dip the leaves into. So we'll dump this stuff out. It's like a good purple, it's like a purple gel. Put the lid back on this. Make sure no one gets a hold of this stuff. This stuff is kind of, you do not want to touch it. It's kind of nasty stuff. But it works really effective for plants. So we're going to grab a bunch of foam inserts, and now we're going to start dipping the cloning solution and inserting them back into my cloner. Okay, now when setting up your cloner, it uses water. For the plants to absorb as much water as they can, you need to pH balance the water. I'm going to take my 4 gallons after I added the nutrients to it, and I'm going to check the pH and then adjust accordingly. I'm going to get around 6 because you want between 5.5 and 6.5 is your optimal range for almost every single plant. So I'm going to aim around 6 and see how close I can get to it. Make sure you do this after your nutrients because your nutrients can really screw with your pH, so you want to make sure it's after so you get an accurate reading of what it's going to be like and what your plants are actually going to be absorbing. I'm going to show you guys a new tool I bought, a new pH meter, a fancy one. Now, This is a little excessive, I have to say, but well needed, because my old one, I had a really cheap one, it was junky. I threw it away, I got a new one, and it's actually the Blue Lab Guardian. Now, this thing's insane. So we're gonna stick it in here, check my pH, and I'll have another video. I think I'll go over that review with you guys and tell you more about it and tell more in depth of how good it is and why and everything like that. So I'm gonna stick my probes in here and see what we're at for levels. So here's my cloner. I have a little pump, as you see. I have another pump in here. And what I did is I just stuck this in here quick. It's got suction cups on the side, and I turned it on just enough so I have water circulating in here. Now when I add my acid or my base to adjust the pH, it'll actually give me accurate reading because it'll adjust quickly in the water. Because for my pH, I have General Hydroponics pH down powdered, because it's a lot cheaper to buy in powdered form, and you can get more out of this instead of the liquid, which, I mean, liquid's easier, but of course you don't get much out of. So there's my Blue Lab Guardian. So we're gonna stick my probes in the water here. We got my temperature probe and parts per million probe. We'll stick that in there. And we'll also stick my pH probe in there, but I gotta take this little cap off. I'll stick this in the water too. Now if you look, we got a reading here. It's like 7.2 pH and 1100 parts per million. Too bad. And 66 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll add a little bit of acid in here. Now this stuff you can buy in a whole bag like this. This stuff will last you forever. It's powdered. Kind of gets clumpy after a while, but you can just break them up. And we'll take it and we'll just sprinkle a little bit in here because it's only 4 gallons, remember. And this stuff is concentrate. So we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit in here. Let's see if that changes it. Look at that. Now we're starting to go down. Now we're at 6.4, 6.3. Now personally, I like to leave mine a little higher, just in case that, hey, let's say there's some particles that didn't dissolve in there right away, and then it will really screw up your pH later on. So I'll let it run, and I can check it later, and I can always adjust as it goes. So I leave the pump run, make sure everything is thoroughly circulated, and then check it again to make sure I'm getting accurate reading. So now when you're all done, it should look like this. A bunch of orange foam things with a bunch of sticks sticking out of them. Which really is just your plants, the underside of your plants. I'm going to stick it on here, turn it on, and watch it work its magic. You see under here, just a nice little mist of just spraying. That's all. It covers every single plant up there, so it's even coverage. It always stays moist. You leave this on 24/7. And then come back, check your pH, make sure that's good, and you can check your roots underneath and see what they're doing. And after, I don't know, a few weeks, you can see the roots are starting, and then you can slowly plant it in your soil. But yeah, it's cool. I love it. Really easy, simple, and cheap. It's better than buying new plants. You can just start them over for you. So yeah, maybe my next video, I think I'll do a review on my Blue Lab Guardian. But let me know what you guys think. Comment below, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.